Doubles are pretty common in the sport of swimming, and particularly in the world of NCAA swimming, with the most common being an individual event and a relay swim on the same night, and sometimes even two individual events on the very same night. Bryn became particularly notorious for performing the dirty double of the 200 backstroke and the 200 butterfly during his career. When it comes to the choice of two individual events for a double, you can sometimes see some pretty interesting combinations. Right now on the psych sheets for men's NCAA's, Indiana's Finlay Brooks is in both the 100 butterfly and the 100 breaststroke. When I swam in high school, I knew someone who paired the 50 freestyle with diving. However, at the recent D2 championships, I think we saw the most ridiculous double ever. The University of Augustana's Bryn Greenwaldt had a very busy Saturday on the final day of the Division II NCAA championships. One of her events was the 100 freestyle, where she came in seeded as the 21st seed. Her other event was the high jump. That's right, Greenwaldt is a dual sport athlete for both swimming and track. Competing in both national championships is something that's a lot easier to do in Division II. This is because they have a lot of their events in a championship festival, meaning they have multiple sports competing in the same location at the same time. This winter festival includes men's and women's swimming and diving, men's and women's indoor track, and men's wrestling. As I said, this double would take place on Saturday. During that day, Bryn would have to compete in prelims for swimming, then travel 5 miles to the track facility, compete in the high jump, travel back to the pool, and then swim in finals. Before the meet started, a lot of swim fans learned that this double would be happening and got pretty invested in it, myself included. And one thing that I think is really cool is that Greenwaldt and the University of Augustana leaned into the whole thing as well. They recorded video updates of the entire double and provided them to SwimSwam, who had an entire article dedicated to live updates. It'll be linked in the description down below if you want to check out the minute-by-minute recap. During the morning prelim session of the 100 freestyle, Greenwaldt blasted a new personal best of 49.03. This earned her the second seed and locked her into that A final. After that, she had plenty of time to warm down, head to the track, and warm back up, with there being several hours before the high jump. Once the high jump started, Greenwaldt would work her way through the rounds, eventually clearing 5'8"3/4 of an inch on her second try, a new personal best. She would eventually fail on the 5'10" jump. This was enough to earn her a tie for 8th place, securing herself All-American honors in the event. However, now she had a problem. The drive time was about 15 minutes from the track to the pool. Her final jump was at 5:15, and the final session for swimming started at 5:30. Thankfully, there was still the fastest heats of both the men's and women's 1650s before the women's 100 freestyle actually started, so she had a bit of a cushion, but not much. At 5:39, Greenwaldt had arrived at the pool, and she had just over half an hour before her final swim in the 100 free, as she walked out for the event at 6:12. In the final, Bryn Greenwaldt secured her spot as an All-American in two different events, in two entirely different sports in one night, as she finished in 8th with a final time of 49.95. Yeah, she gained a little bit of time from her prelim swim, but can you blame her? I'm surprised her legs didn't fall off at this point, and that is her third fastest swim ever, behind only her prelim swim and her runner-up swim from last year. Greenwaldt had actually had an incredible meet before this as well. She placed third in the 100 backstroke the night before this in a new personal best. And most notably, she became a Division II national champion in the 50 freestyle, highlighted by her prelim swim of 21.92, a new Division II record and the first D2 woman to ever break the 22-second barrier. I thought that this was a really interesting and not to mention unique story that came out of these championships. Doubles are already really fun to try and keep track of when both of them are in the pool, and even more so when one of them is in a different sport. What did you think about Bryn Greenwaldt's double? And what do you think about the D2 Championship Festival? Should this be something that's added to other divisions in the future? Because it actually sounds really cool. Let me know down below.